Have you ever wondered why India would engage in war against China to protect the Philippines? In the vast expanse of the South China Sea, a conflict is brewing that has the potential to shift the geopolitical tides. The heart of the dispute lies in conflicting territorial claims, primarily between China and the Philippines, but the ripple effects of this conflict are far-reaching. China, asserting its dominance, has adopted aggressive tactics in the region. This assertiveness is more than just posturing. There have been incidents where Chinese and Filipino vessels have clashed, escalating the tensions to an alarming degree. These confrontations on the sea are not just about who controls the waters, but they also reflect deeper power dynamics at play. Efforts to manage these tensions, to keep the sea from boiling over, have unfortunately been unsuccessful. The South China Sea, it seems, is becoming a flashpoint for regional conflicts. The stakes are high, and the potential for escalation is real. So where does India fit into this maritime maelstrom? India has expressed support for the Philippines, advocating for adherence to international maritime laws and emphasizing the importance of a rules-based order. But this is not just about supporting an ally. There are strategic considerations at play, with India looking to counterbalance China's dominance and bolster its own position in the region. Yet the question remains, would India go as far as to engage in war with China to protect the Philippines? This is not a question to be taken lightly. It's a scenario that would have profound implications for the region and beyond. As the situation intensifies, India steps into the picture. But why would India back the Philippines in this dispute? To find the answer, we must delve deeper into the complex web of geopolitics that entangles these nations. So stay tuned as we navigate the turbulent waters of the South China Sea dispute. India's support for the Philippines is no random act of kindness, but a strategic maneuver. In the complex game of geopolitics, every move matters, and every alliance counts. India's decision to back the Philippines in the South China Sea dispute is a calculated move designed to bolster its own position while counterbalancing China's dominance. India has a history of border conflicts with China, with negotiations along the line of actual control often proving fruitless. By aligning itself with the Philippines, India is hoping to strengthen its negotiating position in these disputes. It's a case of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, a principle as old as politics itself. But it's not just about making friends. India's support for the Philippines also serves to demonstrate its commitment to upholding international maritime laws. This stance, while principled, also serves a strategic purpose. By emphasizing the importance of a rules-based order, India positions itself as a defender of international law, earning it goodwill and support from other nations. This strategy extends beyond the Philippines. India is also seeking to leverage its alliances with other Asian partners like Japan to create a counterbalance to China's dominance. The aim is to create a regional power bloc capable of standing up to China, thereby ensuring that no single country can dictate the rules of the game. India's strategic maneuver is not without risks. It could escalate tensions with China and potentially draw India into a conflict in the South China Sea. But for India, the potential rewards outweigh the risks. Strengthening its alliances and enhancing its geopolitical influence are key to securing its interests in the region. However, it's not just about power dynamics on land. The South China Sea holds significant importance for India's maritime security. This is a story that extends beyond the borders of any single nation. A story of power, influence, and the struggle for control over one of the world's most strategic waterways. The South China Sea isn't just a body of water. For India, it's a matter of geopolitical stability and maritime security. You see, India's interest in the South China Sea isn't just about supporting its allies, it's about maintaining a balance of power in the region. The South China Sea is a critical commercial artery with over a third of global maritime trade passing through it. It's a lifeline for India's trade with East Asia and the Pacific. Any disruption here could have significant economic consequences for India. Moreover, India has a vested interest in ensuring the rule of law at sea. It has consistently advocated for the freedom of navigation and overflight and unimpeded lawful commerce. This is why India supports the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, which seeks to govern the use of the world's oceans. But there's more to it. The growing Chinese military presence in the Indian Ocean has raised alarm bells in New Delhi. China's naval base in Djibouti, its submarines prowling in the Indian Ocean, and its so-called string of pearls strategy of building ports around India's neighborhood all point to one thing: an encircling strategy. So, you may ask, why does India care about Chinese activities in the South China Sea, thousands of kilometers away from its shores? It's because India sees it as a litmus test. If China can unilaterally change the status quo in the South China Sea, it might feel emboldened to do the same in the Indian Ocean. And that's something India cannot afford to let happen. India's support for the Philippines, therefore, is not just about upholding international maritime laws. It's a strategic move to counterbalance China's dominance in the region. So, India has strategic reasons to back the Philippines. But how does this play out on the global stage? When it comes to geopolitical tensions, the ripple effects are felt worldwide. Now think about the South China Sea dispute. It's more than just a regional conflict. It's a chessboard where global powers are making strategic moves with implications that reverberate across oceans. The United States, for instance, is in a delicate position. As an ally of the Philippines, committed by a mutual defense treaty, it finds itself in a challenging predicament. If China's assertive actions in the South China Sea escalate into military aggression against the Philippines, the U.S. could be drawn into the conflict. This is a scenario that the U.S. would understandably prefer to avoid, but its commitment to its ally may leave it with little choice. Now let's flip the coin and look at this from China's perspective. China has been quite vocal about its displeasure at what it perceives as interference from third parties. It views the involvement of countries like India and the U.S. in the South China Sea dispute as unnecessary and provocative. China urges these nations to stay on the sidelines. But will they? India, for its part, has made it clear that it stands with the Philippines in upholding international maritime laws. It's committed to a rules-based order in the South China Sea and has expressed its intention to deepen its defense and security cooperation with the Philippines. This is not just about supporting an ally, it's also about pushing back against China's dominance, asserting India's own regional influence, and ensuring its maritime security. But what does all of this mean for the rest of the world? Well, it's a clear sign that the tides of geopolitics are shifting. Countries are realigning their strategies, forming new partnerships, and reinforcing old alliances. The South China Sea dispute is a litmus test for the future of international relations. As India pledges to explore new areas of cooperation with the Philippines, the world watches. But what does this mean for the future? That's a question that only time can answer. However, one thing is certain. The South China Sea dispute is a global issue, and its resolution will shape the geopolitical landscape for years to come. As tensions rise in the South China Sea, the future of geopolitical relations hangs in the balance. What will this mean for the world at large? Let's delve into it, shall we? The South China Sea dispute is not just a regional conflict, but a chess game of global proportions. The moves made here will reverberate far beyond the waters of the Pacific, shaping the geopolitical landscape of the future. And in this game, India's support for the Philippines could be a game changer. India's stance is clear: uphold international maritime laws. This sentiment is not only about the South China Sea dispute, but also a statement of India's broader commitment to a rules-based global order. By aligning with the Philippines, India is sending out a strong message against any attempt to unilaterally change the status quo. What could this mean for the future? Well, with India in the fray, we could see a strengthening of alliances and partnerships across Asia. Defense cooperation between India and the Philippines is likely to increase, creating a formidable counterbalance to China's military dominance. This could lead to a more balanced power dynamic in the region, and potentially a shift in the global balance of power. But it's not just about military might. India's support for the Philippines could also spur greater diplomatic and economic cooperation among nations who share a commitment to international law and order. This could lead to the creation of stronger, more resilient regional blocs, capable of standing up to any attempts to undermine the rules-based order. However, it's important to remember that this is a complex and fluid situation. The chess pieces are still in motion, and the final picture is yet to emerge. The actions of India, China, the Philippines, and other key players will shape the future of this region, and indeed, the world. As we stand on the precipice of change, one thing is certain. The South China Sea dispute is more than just a regional conflict. It's a reflection of the changing dynamics of global power and the struggle for a rules-based world order. So as we navigate these turbulent waters, let's keep our eyes on the horizon. The future of geopolitical relations is being written right here, right now, and it promises to be a fascinating journey. Subscribe for more amazing content. Keep wondering. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.